Good. So here we are on this webinar today, Opening Your Heart to Love. And I'm really excited to be bringing this training out to the world. I started training in this particular method a year ago, and I wanted to give it time to practice it myself, experience it myself before I brought it out to others. So finally, now is the time. And I really am very excited to share what I'm going to share today. So our agenda is going to be looking at the negative consequences of a closed heart and actually defining what is a closed heart, the beneficial consequences of an open heart, what causes a closed heart, the signs and clues of a closed or open heart, the 5 essential qualities which we need to develop to have an open heart and to experience all the love, the peace, the health, the harmony, success, abundance, etc., that we all want and all deserve. And we're going to do a short guided exercise to experience what it feels like to open the heart using this method, which this is from. And the replay of this whole webinar will be available as a free program in my online portal, and I will give details of that at the end of the webinar. So I'll be putting the replay plus a handout and plus some other information in there, but that will take about 48 hours from doing the live webinar. Also, what I'm going to be sharing at the end of the webinar is a masterclass training to open your heart and transform your life, which is launching in January, which is a few weeks from now. And I will be talking about a really amazing joining rate, which closes on the 25th of December. So there's a week left, or just under a week left to join that. And how actually you can also win the whole masterclass training for free. So that all those details will be at the end of the webinar. Part 1 is what is a closed heart. So essentially our heart can either be open or closed, and in a nutshell, if our heart is open, we're going to experience all the good stuff that we want over here, which is things like happiness, trusting ourselves, trusting others, feeling peaceful, feeling joyful, experiencing love, feeling safe, feeling hopeful, optimistic, and having good health. Those are the natural consequences of an open heart. The natural consequences of a closed heart are the opposite of that, essentially. So the natural consequences of a closed heart are we don't feel happy, we have lots of mistrust and doubt, we feel anxious, depressed, we build up lots of things like hatred and fear and resentment inside of us, we feel hopeless, pessimistic, negative, and we'll be sick. So this is just the beginnings of the explanation around the difference between an open and a closed heart. There's going to be much more coming, but even with just this snapshot, I'd really like you to look at this and just truthfully, without judging yourself, and by the way, judgment is a sign of a closed heart, without judging yourself, look at this list and go, okay, where do I sit? Because if you're over on the left, then there's definitely signs of a closed heart and there is work to be done. So, as I said, what do we mean by a closed heart? Now, most people are aware that we have a physical heart in our body. We all know that. And, the heart does amazing things, and here's just one amazing thing that it does. It filters 5 to 7 litres of blood every minute, or over 7,500 litres of blood every day. Now that is incredible, and that's just one of its functions. But we also have a metaphysical heart, and the word meta just means above or beyond. So it's a function that goes beyond just the physical. And in fact, every organ and tissue and cell in the body has a metaphysical function. So what we're really saying here is that every cell, tissue and organ in the body have a dual function. They have the physiological physical function, but they also have another function. And that is what interests me. That is what I've spent the last 25 years studying, training, helping people to understand. Because unless we understand this, we cannot have proper health and happiness. So the Heart Math is an organization that have done a huge amount of research into the heart on an energetic, metaphysical level. And the heart is 100, or the heart field is 100 times, or the magnetic field is 100,000 times stronger electrically, and up to 5,000 times stronger magnetically than the brain, the electromagnetic field of the brain. So the heart is an incredibly powerful organ. And obviously from the point of view of a physical organ inside our body, it is one of the most important organs. Now, people tend to forget that our internal organs keep us alive, and our major organs are the liver, the lungs, the heart, stomach, spleen, etc., etc. And there's like a hierarchy, if you like, in terms of the importance of these physical organs just from a physiological perspective. And, you know, the one at the top of the list has got to be the heart. So when our electromagnetic field crosses over with somebody else's electromagnetic field, because everything is energy, that's quantum physics, quantum science, then we're also going to experience the effect of that. So, for example, if you walk into a room where somebody's just had an argument and that person is still in the room, then you're going to feel that energy in the room, and you'll also feel that energy emanating from them because their heart field is emanating out beyond their physical body. Now, in Chinese, sticking with conventional medicine just for the moment. So in medicine, we have around our heart what we call the pericardium. And the pericardium is a layer of tissue, a layer of fibrous tissue and also serous tissue, which encloses the pericardial cavity, or in other words, the heart, and contains fluid. And it fixes the heart to part of the body called the mediastinum, and it gives protection against infection and provides lubrication for the heart. I mean, it does other things too, but that's just the, you know, some of the core roles of this pericardium. But the point of pointing this out is that we're going to be talking about the theme of protection. Now, from a physiological level, the pericardium protects the heart. But we also have energetic protection, okay? And this is very, very important. And what I find in my work with people is that, you know, in our society, people tend to, and especially, unfortunately, at the moment still, you know, the doctors, etc., they tend to focus more on the physical rather than the metaphysical. And as I said, unless we look at both sides of things, we cannot have authentic health and happiness. So in Chinese medicine, they also have, they work very much energetically. You're probably familiar with acupuncture and TCM, traditional Chinese medicine. Actually, CCM, which is classical Chinese medicine, is more the training that I've trained in, and it predates traditional Chinese medicine because the traditional Chinese medicine had the spirituality stripped of it in the 1940s by the Chinese government. But CCM, or classical Chinese medicine, has been around for thousands of years, and they look at the body more energetically. So they talk about qi, which I'm going to be talking about later, and they see that the whole body mind is made essentially of energy. And so there is what is called a heart protector and also a heart warmer in Chinese medicine. And all of the major organs and functions of the body are considered metaphorically to be officials or ministers in service to the heart. And the heart is the supreme controller. And in order to rule with wisdom, love, impartiality, and to spread joy throughout the kingdom of the body-mind, the supreme controller must be kept safe and protected. That is the job of the heart protector. So we have the physical pericardium, which is protecting the heart physically, and then we have the heart protector in Chinese medicine, which is protecting the heart metaphysically or energetically. And this is very important for our theme of opening the heart, as you're going to see. So what happens is, and I'm going to share why later and how later, but what happens is we unconsciously create a wall of energy around our heart, which we can call a heart wall. And a heart wall is made up of energy which literally sits around our heart. And this heart wall blocks our chi, or our energy, so that information cannot get in and out. So it's literally, if you imagine you've got your heart, which is inside of you, and if there is this energetic heart wall around it, information cannot come in and information cannot go out. And we literally block the flow of information and energy and chi from going in and out of ourselves, which is going to lead to a lot of consequences, which I'm about to share. And so we have to remember that this heart wall is a form of self-protection. And again, I'm going to share why in a minute. So let's look at some of the signs of a protected, or AKA closed heart. So part 2, signs of a closed heart. Now, as I go through this, I'd like you to be really honest with yourself. Honesty is the key to transformation. And just without any judgment, just look at the list that I'm going to be sharing and just ask yourself, you know, am I closed or am I open? And you might like to give yourself at the end like an overall rating out of 10 or 100 or something like that. And it's really, really, really important not to go into self-judgment, self-beating, feeling bad, hopelessness, despair, etc., because that is just going down a downward spiral, and it's actually closing the heart even more. So just be really honest and compassionate with yourself as you look at this list. But the reason for showing this list, and there's going to be quite a few lists that I'm going to be showing, is because if we don't know where we are, we can't go to where we want to go. So we have to get really, really clear on where am I now. So, you know, if you want to drive from London to Edinburgh, if you don't know you're in London, you can't look up on the map and know how far it's going to take you and how far to go and how long it's going to take and all that sort of stuff. So also remember that even if we think our heart is open, the part that is closed we will often be unconscious about. So often we're unconscious and unaware that our heart is closed until we come across some information like this, where we can actually look at a checklist and go, okay, yeah, well, I've got that, that, and that, and that, and that. So that means it's closed, and I've got that, that, and that, which means it's partly open, right? So this is a reality check. And I have to be honest and say that I am the guinea pig for, or have been the guinea pig for, a closed heart, and I've still got a lot of work to do to open my heart. So just because I'm presenting this webinar and this training, it does not mean that I've perfected this. It means that I've done a lot of training, I have done a lot of work on myself, I have done a lot of implementing and exploring and transformation, but I am not perfect. So I want to be really clear about that. So signs of a closed heart, and these will be signs of missing essential heart quality number 1. And I'm going to share what those qualities are later. I don't want to share them now for a reason. But here are some of the signs of a closed heart. Now, I'm not going to have time to read all of them. You can watch the replay if you want to go back and look at them again. But this particular quality, we're going to have a lot of distrust of ourselves. We won't trust our own decisions, our intuition. We'll have a lot of tension. We might even feel despair, anger. We'll find it difficult to access our intuition. We'll have a lot of suspicion and be guarded. We'll have a lot of doubt and worry, anxiety, very likely depression, leading to hopelessness, pessimism, you know, at the extreme end, if you like. Our confidence will be low. We'll be overly sensitive and overly reactive. well, our emotions will go up and down. We'll find it hard to open up and hard to move forward. We'll have misunderstandings and tension and conflicts in relationship. We'll definitely have sickness or ill health. We'll have poverty consciousness and more. So these are some of the signs of missing essential heart quality number 1. And just to mention that at the beginning of the webinar, somebody said that they wanted to find how to connect with others. So the thing is, all the change starts inside. If we want to connect with others, we have to change something inside us first. There is no other way. So missing essential heart quality number 2, we're going to have difficulty accepting or receiving. We may even feel indifferent, feel like we don't care. We may have apathy and lack of interest, a fear of change or stepping out. We may be stubborn. We may have a strong attachment to our own views. We may be overly sensitive, lack of joy. And by the way, notice that some of these things that I'm saying, they are going to repeat for each heart quality. And that is quite normal. We may have rigidity. We may have a fear of self-honesty, a fear of criticism. We may feel bad when we're criticized or we get feedback. We may be arrogant or have self-importance. We may have constant hardships with work or family or money. And we may feel that life is a dead end without hope and few opportunities. So those are the signs of missing essential heart quality number 2. Obviously, I'm going to share what those heart qualities are later, but first of all, I just want to show or go through the signs of this closed heart. The signs of missing essential quality number 3 are we will feel closed, frustrated, impatient. We may feel hatred. We'll feel disrespect for ourselves and others. We may be cold-hearted, discontent. We may be critical. We may complain, be judgmental. These are all signs of missing essential quality number 3. Missing essential quality number 4. We may have self-hatred, self-loathing, or maybe a sense of entitlement and the world owes me, resentment. We may feel disconnected, have an urge to blame. We may feel stuck, and we may not be able to move forward in our life. Missing essential quality number 5. We may feel impatient, discontent, indifferent, be critical, feel lonely, isolated. We may be closed-minded, we may be rude, we may have a sense of injustice, we may feel rejected, we may feel or be antagonistic and impatient, and essentially unhappy. So those are signs of missing essential heart quality number 5. So if anything I've said resonates with you, please, number 1 important rule, no self-judgment, because when we can accept ourselves without judgment, that is the start of being able to open our heart. So we just need to see where we are and have compassion for ourselves so that we can move forward. So what causes the heart to close? Now, we live in a universe of cause and effect, and actions have consequences, and that is just a law that we can't bypass. It's just how things work. And ultimately, if we could say one word that causes the heart to close, it would be hurt. And really what we're talking about here is emotional hurt. Yes, physical hurt can hurt, but really what we're talking about here is emotional hurt. And in my work with clients over the past 12 years and working on myself for 25 years, I have found that the emotional hurt is the number 1 cause of all these problems of sickness, unhappiness, depression, anxiety, difficulty being successful in life, abundance issues, and of course it causes a closed heart. So we experience things in our life like betrayal, heartache, despair, etc., etc., and that causes us to build a heart wall. And the interesting thing is we build this heart wall with the energy of these negative emotions. So, but this is all happening unconsciously. We don't do this consciously, but we do it to protect ourselves. Because what I have also found with every single client, 100%, no exceptions so far in 12 years, is that whatever we're experiencing in our life now was set up by the age of 7. All our patterns, our beliefs, our emotional habits, everything, our consciousness is programmed by the age of 7. And so things happen in our life which cause hurt. And it's not to say that things won't happen after that age, but I usually find there are key things that happen by the age of 7, and then we will continue to repeat these sort of situations in a different way. So, you know, we'll have something happen to us in our childhood, and then later in life we'll have a bad relationship, for example. So life repeats, and life will continue to repeat until we change from the inside. And that is the only way that we're going to change our outer world, whether it's changing our job, changing our finances, changing our health, changing our relationships, changing relationship with partner, children, family, friends, colleagues. It's all about changing the inside. So we have emotions which are generated inside the body, and different emotions navigate to different organs and affect different organs, and all that energy is stored inside the body and affects the body-mind until we clear it. So let's look at how, sort of like a step-by-step process of how the heart closes. So we have unhappy, traumatic life events. Now, I'm not saying that we won't also have happy stuff. We're only focusing on the unhappy, not so good stuff right now, because everybody, even if they have a really traumatic, unhappy childhood or life, there's always going to be some good stuff, and that's great. But for the purposes of our learning and healing, we need to look at the not so good stuff. So we have unhappy life events. This creates a lot of emotion inside of us, such as fear, hurt, shame, sadness, grief, loneliness, frustration, anger, resentment, and a whole heap of other emotions. And these emotions can get trapped inside of us. And that builds up then to depression and anxiety. And then after that, we start creating, or at the same time actually, we start creating beliefs such as I'm unworthy, I'm undeserving, I'm bad, I'm unlovable, I don't deserve to live. And these are usually sitting in the unconscious. And then we end up with illness, aches, pains, fatigue. We end up with something physical something wrong with our body. And that's how it works. So at the end of the day, what we're looking at here is there are feelings of I'm not enough. I'm just not enough. And that's what, you know, lies very deep underneath all of this. So, of course, we don't want that. I mean, who wants that? Nobody wants that. We can actually get stuck in it, and we can even actually have what is called a secondary gain, which will be an unconscious reason for actually staying in that place, even though we don't want to be in that place. And so that needs to be dug out as well. But I mean, who wants to feel like that? Nobody. I mean, life sucks, right? Especially when it gets to the chronic illness stage or the depression stage. So let's look at some signs of an open heart. And again, as we go through, just look at where you are and congratulate yourself for any of these signs. So signs of an open heart. We're going to feel safe and secure. We're going to trust ourselves, trust others, trust life. We are going to feel positive. We're going to trust our hearts. We're going to be in touch with our intuition. We're going to feel nourished. We're going to have a sense of freedom. We're going to feel connected. We're going to have well-being, positivity, optimism. We're going to be able to open up to others. We'll have success and abundance. So those are the natural consequences of an open heart with essential heart quality number 1. Number 2, we're going to feel connected with ourselves. We will feel connected with life and nature. Life will flow smoothly. our emotions will be balanced, we will experience humility, our relationships will be flowing smoothly, we will feel loved, we will have unconditional love for ourselves and others, we will experience vitality, we will be open to change, we'll be willing to be intimate with people, we'll be happy for others and ourselves, we'll be positive, we'll be honest with ourselves and others, and overall our heart will be filled with full of bright light. Essential heart quality number 3, we will feel hope and joy, happiness, freedom, upliftment, self-acceptance, unconditional love for ourselves and for others, respect for ourselves and others, compassion for ourselves and others. We'll be able to forgive. We will have appreciation of self and life. We will have abundance, trust, support, all the good things that we want. Essential quality number 4, we will experience love, confidence, we'll be able to face challenges, we will feel inspired, we will experience new opportunities, we will have inner strength. Our heart will be soft, it will be open, it will be pure. We will have fresh perspectives and be able to see fresh perspectives. We will be able to dissolve resentment. Indifference will turn into care and kindness. Our relationships will be restored. We will feel blessed and we will have magic. And the last one, we will have healthy and harmonious relationships. We will have respect for ourselves and others. We will be able to accept others compassionately without judgment. We will be open-minded. We will be able to deal with disagreements. We will keep our word and deliver on our promises. And we will respect all of life, including all of nature, plants, animals, and Mother Earth. So that is likely to be, or definitely how we're going to feel if our heart is open. So in a nutshell, if our heart is open, we are going to have a belief of I'm enough, I'm worthy, I'm deserving, I'm a good person, I'm lovable, I deserve to live. And we're going to have trust, openness, connection, inner peace, harmony, optimism, hope, positivity. We're going to feel safe and secure. And very importantly, we're going to be healthy. If we don't have all of this, we cannot be healthy. And basically life will be amazing, right? We'll experience all the good stuff that we say we always want but don't seem to get enough of. So the question is, which would you prefer? Now that's a silly question, right? Because, you know, I mean, who is gonna want a closed heart? Although, as I said, there can be a hidden secondary gain with unconscious beliefs running inside of us that are actually preventing us from getting to where we want to go. So we're going to look at these 5 essential qualities of the human heart, which we could say are like secret ingredients. And they're not really so secret, but most people really don't know how to cultivate them, how to develop them. So these 5 essential qualities are absolutely essential if we want to experience authentic health, happiness, and success in our life. And we actually have to develop and cultivate them. They don't cultivate and develop by themselves, okay? We actually have to put in effort to do that. And there is a specific technique for doing that. I mean, there's quite a few different techniques, but this is a very, very special technique, which I'll be sharing more of later. And so these 5 essential qualities are called the 5 Xin, and Xin or Xingling is heart. It means heart in Chinese medicine. So these 5 Xin qualities are part of human nature, and we're all born with them. But as I said, we don't all cultivate them. And actually, when they're not manifested and cultivated, the opposite will start to manifest. For example, if we don't have trust, then doubt will start to appear more and more. So the ongoing cultivation of Wuxin or 5 Xin is essential for ensuring that our life moves forward in a positive and uplifting direction. So it's like an equation. If we cultivate these 5 Xin qualities on a regular, maybe daily basis, our life is going to move forward in a positive and uplifting direction. If we don't cultivate these 5 qualities, our life is likely to go in the opposite direction. It's just a law of physics in a way. And this positive cultivation and upliftment, it's, first of all, it starts with us as individuals, but then it impacts, as you can imagine, society and the whole world. And if you look at the state of the world today, and there is a lot of shit, excuse my French, going down, you know, the wars and terrorism and like millions of people with depression and anxiety and chronic illness. This is a sign on a world level that our hearts are not open, okay? So missing essential quality, or essential quality number 1 might be missing or not. Essential quality number 1 is trust, okay? Now, as I said before, here are some of the signs of, you know, if we don't trust. So essential heart quality number 1 is trust. And this is a huge topic and one of my favorite topics, because what I found is, for people, is that trust is lost very early on in life. As I said, it's whatever happens in those first 7 years. And what happens is we stop trusting people around us. Maybe they're caregivers or whatever, because we're not being maybe treated well, we're maybe being abused, maybe physically, emotionally, maybe even sexually, or we just don't feel safe. So, because trust and safety go hand in hand, and we don't feel either physically and or emotionally safe, and so we stop trusting. And we stop trusting the people around us, and we stop trusting our environment, and that leads to us stopping trusting ourselves. And then in turn, that stops us trusting other people and the environment. So it's like a vicious circle. And I have to say that out of the 5 Shin qualities, because we can have different levels for each quality of how much we have it or not. And I'd say that for me, trust was a biggie, huge one, and I'm still working on it. So essential heart quality number 2 is openness, the ability to be open. So, you know, either we have a closed heart or we have an open heart. And if we don't have trust, we're not going to be able to have an open heart. And these essential qualities are developed in an order. So the next sign is, the next essential quality is love. So once we develop once we develop trust and openness, that then leads to love. And then when we've done that, we start to experience more gratitude. And when we do that, then we are able to develop what is called Gongjing, and I'm going to explain more of that in a moment, but it's a composite quality, but one of the main qualities in Gongjing is respect. So let me go through that in a little more detail. So we have, first of all, the first essential quality is trust. And trust is the key to opening the heart. It's the bridge between our heart and other people's hearts. It is the key. So unless we have this to start with, we can't do the rest, because they have like a knock-on effect on each other, if that makes sense. So they have a knock-on effect, but at the same time they work as a unit. And so as we cultivate each unit, the whole thing grows and changes. So when we cultivate trust and increase trust, then we start to experience openness. We literally, it's like our heart starts to open, and we start to get in touch with ourselves, with other people, with life. We feel more connected. We feel safer. It's you know, it goes in a circle. And once we have started to develop openness, and when the heart and the consciousness are open, this chi and information, which I mentioned before, can flow in and out in a healthy way. So if we give the analogy of this heart wall, if we remember this heart wall that we've built around our heart, unconsciously, energetically, it's made up of the hurt, that we've experienced in the past, and maybe we're still experiencing it today, but if we're experiencing it today, it's because we haven't cleared it from the past and we're not dealing with it today. So we have this heart wall, which is made of energy, which is largely made up of emotional energy and all the old stuff that we actually don't want anymore, but we're actually storing it in our heart. And so we're storing all the frustration, the hurt, the sadness, the grief, the pain, the fear, whatever it is. It's all built up as a layer of energy around our heart energetically. And it's literally like having a brick wall around your heart, which means that we find it very difficult to connect. We find it difficult to connect with ourselves, and we find it difficult to connect with other people, and life just feels really, really stuck. So a closed heart is a form of self-isolation and self-restriction and withdrawal and self-imprisonment. So we literally become a prisoner of our own heart. And it is an unnatural state of the heart to be closed because freedom is taken away. So here we have the trust, the openness, and the love so far. And then once we develop and cultivate love, love is a positive, uplifting power, and true love leads to positive changes and well-being. And it's only when we have love for ourselves that we can have love for others. And in fact, when people are wanting a relationship, or maybe they're in a relationship and they're not getting what they want from that relationship, and they could, make a list of all the things they want from that relationship, the reason that they're not getting it is because they're not giving it to themselves. We have to give it to ourselves first before we get it authentically from somebody else. Otherwise, we're just in a dysfunctional relationship, and we're just trying to get our unmet emotional needs met, but actually nobody else can actually meet our needs except for ourselves. So here we are, we have the trust, which leads to the openness, which leads to love, which leads to gratitude. So we start to develop gratitude, and gratitude is part of the mechanism of human nature. And through the positive feedback of gratitude, the positive side of human nature is reinforced. So we all know what gratitude feels like. We feel grateful, but a lot of people can spend a lot of time complaining and focusing on the glass half full rather than, half empty rather than half full. And when we don't have enough gratitude in our life, we're going to focus on the negative. There's going to be pessimism, there's going to be negativity, we're going to complain, we're going to be critical, we're going to be judgmental, and a whole heap of other things. So we must develop gratitude. And the last one is Gongjing. So Gongjing is a composite word which includes elements of trust, openness, love, gratitude, but also humility, inclusiveness rather than exclusiveness. In our world today, it's like exclusive is something good. No, inclusive is good. We're going to experience empathy, appreciation, compassion. These are all elements of Gongjing, but actually one of the biggest elements of Gongjing is respect. So here are these 5 essential qualities or secret ingredients to an open heart, but not just the secret ingredients to an open heart. These are what will lead to happiness, health, success, abundance. Okay? If you want to be healthy, if you want to be happy, if you want to be financially abundant, if you want to have success in your life in whatever you're doing, you must develop these 5 qualities. So what we're going to do now is a short guided exercise to experience what it's like to have an open heart. And this exercise is an excerpt, that's a weird word, isn't it, from the full program. And so what you're going to get here is just a taster of what you would be learning in the full program. Now, before we do it, I just need to explain a little bit of terminology because this comes from Chinese culture and background. So in the full program, I'll go into much more detail in explaining terminology. I'm going to give you a very brief overview here. So Qi is energy, Shen is the mind, because I'm going to be saying these words, just so you have a rough idea of what they mean. Don't worry, they're not mentioned very often, but when they are mentioned, it just gives you a little bit of an idea of what they mean. Shen is the mind or consciousness. Xin is the heart. Gongjing, let's just say respect for the moment. Dao means the way, the laws of the universe. Xinmen means mind and consciousness. Qi field is a field of information. Dantian, I'm going to be talking about that later after the exercise, what that means. Dantian means field of elixir, and the lower Dantian is the field of elixir in your lower abdomen, behind and below the navel. Because right at the end, I'm going to be directing you to put your hands on your lower Dantian. So at the end, what you're going to be doing is you're going to bringing your arms around in a circle out in front of you, and then you're going to be bringing your palms over your navel, palm over palm, the center of each of your palms over your navel. Women right hand first, men left hand first, just at the end. Just to explain that part. And just to know that as I take you through this exercise, it's going to be sort of like a preparation start at the beginning. It's all rolled into one, but it's very important to know that the preparation is really, really, really important, because it prepares the mind and the body for the practice of this opening your heart practice. And what we're going to be doing in the exercise itself is you're going to be having a communication with your heart and your consciousness. And we're also going to be infusing positive information into your body mind. So what I'd like you to do is I'd like you to just close your eyes and be sitting comfortably. And just take a few deep breaths from your lower abdomen. And just take a snapshot of how you're feeling right now, because we want to see, do you feel different afterwards? And this will probably take about 10 minutes to do this exercise, maybe 15. So just take a snapshot of how you're feeling physically, mentally, emotionally at this point in time. And if you can, sit straight with your back reasonably straight. You can also do this lying down. But the important thing is to feel really comfortable and relaxed. So just adjust your posture and your body according to how you feel. And place your hands wherever you'd like to for this practice. And try to relax your whole body so that your qi and your blood can flow smoothly and your body can feel very comfortable. Be calm, relax, with your awareness in your lower dantian. Your attention is in your lower abdomen behind your navel. And breathe inside your lower dantian. Your mind is calm and peaceful. So now we're going to use what are called the 6 verses to adjust your Shen, your mind, and to build the Qi field inside your heart. The Qi field that is going to provide nourishment for your life. So as best you can, just follow along with the guidance, whatever it means for you. It will be perfect. Awareness inside the body. Feel the emptiness and spaciousness within. Expand this awareness out and become one with the universe. Draw the awareness back to your body, calm and peaceful. Open to the universe again with reverence and utmost respect. Let the bright universe nurture your heart with compassion and love. Feel relaxed, free and joyful. Chi flowing harmoniously and smoothly. Feel your connection with nature and the love and support from the Chi field and the universe. And feel the calmness and harmony inside your body. Your body, your Chi and your mind are all unified in your heart. And from now on, everything you do in this practice will be from your heart. Utmost beauty, goodness, and wisdom of your true nature are shining in your heart. You're going to follow the call of your true nature with an open heart. Begin to communicate freely with your heart. It's a heart-to-heart conversation between you and yourself, and you and everything beyond. So now we're going to follow the Kaishin verse with a sincere heart. Heaven, earth, and human are all teachers with infinite wisdom. I open my mind to trust and love them unconditionally. With gratitude in my heart, I receive the bright light of their love and wisdom and unify with it. My Shen, Yi, and Shin are fully aligned with the light of the Tao. With Gongjing, realization and wisdom are arising. I am one with the light of the wisdom of the universe. Pay attention to the changes inside your heart. Feel every subtle change. Feel the vitality and creativity in your heart. Tell yourself, I am ready. I am ready to welcome a different me every day. Everything is changing from moment to moment. I believe my inner world can be revitalized and all the darkness can be dispelled if my heart so desires. My heart can become kinder and cleaner, more harmonious and beautiful, brighter and wiser. I am ready to get to know my heart, and I'm willing to continue to cultivate trust, openness, love, gratitude, and respect. I am determined to love and take good care of my heart, my life, and everything beyond. The call from my heart is becoming louder and clearer. I am ready. Remain in a good state and go deep into your heart for the practice of the first stage of openness. When the door of a room is open, I can go in and out of the room freely. If the door remains locked, the room can no longer function normally. What does openness mean to me as a human? Human life is an open system, and openness plays a crucial role in the health and normal functioning of my life. What makes my life open? An open heart. The heart is like the doorway of life. When my heart is open, my life is open. It is free. Being open is a natural state of life. When my heart is not completely open, there must be something blocking the way, causing the heart to close up. When my heart is closed, my life is closed. What is the role of openness in my health, my happiness, my growth? How does it affect the overall state and quality of my life? How does it affect the direction of my life? How does it affect my relationships? The heart and mind are closely connected and inseparable. They direct all the activities of life. When my heart is open, my consciousness is open. And an open heart is crucial for the health of my consciousness. When my heart and consciousness are open, chi and information can flow in and out of me in a healthy, natural way. Proper communication and interaction with myself and others can occur. On the other hand, when my heart is closed, the flow of chi and information will be blocked. This can affect all aspects of my life, including health and growth. When I close my heart, it is a form of self-isolation, self-restriction, withdrawal, and self-imprisonment. It is an unnatural and unhealthy state of the heart because freedom is taken away. What does it feel like when my heart is closed? How can I tell? There are many telltale signs I can look out for. What should I do when any of these signs show up? For example, if I have negative emotions or difficult relationships, or constant hardships, or feeling like life is a dead end with little hope and few opportunities. I should first ask myself, where do these unpleasant experiences come from? And do they have anything to do with my heart not being open enough? So what then does it feel like to have an open heart? Let's use an exercise to feel what it's like to be open. Relax your eyebrows. Relax your chest. Relax your heart. Your heart is completely relaxed. Your heart is nothing but beautiful, bright light. Expand this bright light. Let the bright light radiate from your chest and penetrate everything as it extends out to your body, to all the people around you, to the world, to the universe. Everything is lit up as your heart expands. Feel the open space inside your chest and the feeling of total ease and freedom. Your heart is opening up like a beautiful flower. It looks so natural, and its beauty is beyond words. If you're feeling different now, it's because you've taken the initiative to open your heart. There are many ways to open the heart, but however you choose to do it, the secret, the golden key, is to take initiative. Continue to be in this open state and imagine how wonderful life would be if your heart stayed open this way. You would be able to touch the hearts of many people and make beautiful connections with them. You would be able to learn more about yourself and about life. You would feel more confident and positive. You would have more success in everything you tried to achieve. People would find you more receptive, more trustworthy, more thoughtful, and more approachable. Continue to use your heart to perceive this essence of openness. It holds the wisdom you need to guide you. Connect with the great chi field that is always there to support you, nurture your life, and lend you strength. Connect with the universe so its infinite wisdom can continue to lead your heart towards its ever-shining, bright light. Now come back to speaking to yourself. When I open my heart, I'm building the highway that connects me with myself and the world. I choose to open my heart because it will allow my Xingling to be itself, to be free and natural. An open heart is a source of uplifting life force and vitality that I can constantly tap into. I feel strong when my heart is open. I feel safe and I'm willing to become intimate with people. I can feel their hearts and share their joy. I'm eager to open my heart. Everyone is eager to open their hearts. The world needs more open hearts. And I choose to first open my heart to myself. My heart is the bridge between me and others. I can take responsibility for keeping my heart open in the most authentic way and for keeping it as pure and clean as possible. An open heart is now part of my life and it's growing stronger and stronger. Focus on the changes inside your heart. Feel the chi field and the information of trust and openness in the chi field. With your hands, draw this precious chi and information back to your body and to your heart so that openness will continue to grow inside you and make your life better and brighter. Once you've drawn this chi and information back to your heart, then also draw it back down to your lower dantian, palm over your navel. And take 3 long deep breaths and very slowly open your eyes. Open your eyes. So, as I said at the beginning, it's really simple. The equation is really simple. If we have an open heart, we're going to experience happiness and health. If we have a closed heart, we're going to experience feeling unhappy and sick. It's just a physical law of the universe equation. And the good news is that we can change this. So I also want to share some of the deeper consequences of an open heart. So what we begin to experience as we do this practice, and remember that when we do practices like this, they're experiential and they have a cumulative effect and they have a transformative effect, and they create what is called alchemy inside our body. And the word alchemy comes from the word alchemical. so it's like we have this chemical change inside our body, but at an alchemical level. So we're literally changing our cells, our tissues, our organs, literally physiologically, but we're also changing much more than that. We're changing our mind, we're changing our emotions, and then something even bigger than that starts to happen. And as I said before, don't want to repeat myself too much, but if we have a closed heart, then we have all the negative stuff that we don't want. And if we have the open heart, we have all the good stuff that we want. But when we start to open up and develop these 5 qualities of the heart, we then start to get in touch with what we call the field, which is, you know, all that is, everything, all that is. Because one of the things that we humans tend to experience, and especially we're going to experience if we have a closed heart, is that we're going to feel disconnected from not just ourselves, but we're also going to feel disconnected from other people, and we're also going to feel disconnected from all of life. But as all the great spiritual teachers teach, and any self-realized teacher will teach this, is that actually that we are all one, we are all connected with everything. Having this feeling of disconnection is actually a myth, even though it feels really real. So as we start to really change ourselves and transform ourselves from the inside out and open our heart and cultivate these 5 qualities, we're going to get an even deeper connection with all of life, which we could call, say, the field. And we're also going to get in touch with our intuition. I think I spelled that wrong. Anyway, intuition. Yeah, so we're going to get in touch with our intuition, which really is our inner tutor, right? And in Chinese medicine, and I love the way they describe things, the heart is seen as the emperor. So if you imagine that you have a kingdom, a country, whatever, and it's ruled by an emperor, that emperor is there to oversee everything that happens in the kingdom. It's there to guide the people who are living in the kingdom. And that is exactly how the heart is seen in Chinese medicine. It is the emperor, and it should be the ruler of the kingdom. And it has a lot of wisdom to share. Now, the problem is in our society is that the heart is not really cultivated, which is why we need to start cultivating it. And so we're mainly in our head, and that is what our schooling system teaches. It teaches how to cultivate the head brain and the head consciousness, and that's all well and good. But as the Dalai Lama says, we spend far too much time cultivating our head, and we need to spend much more time cultivating the heart. So our heart is a doorway that connects us to all that is. And when we start to cultivate our heart, we start to get in touch with this field of information that goes way beyond just ourselves. And that is when we tap into our intuition, and we get answers, and we can even, you know, go and see into the future or get clarity on the past. We just tap into this field of information that is always there, but if our heart is closed, we can't connect with it. So that is sort of a deeper meaning and significance and result of opening our heart and cultivating these 5 Shin qualities. So I'm going to share details of my program, which I'm launching in January. And it's really an opportunity to transform your world from the inside out if you're ready and want to do that. And, you know, we have a choice. We can either have the hurt and close our heart, or we can have the hurt and open it anyway and heal it and move on with our life. So what I've shared in this webinar so far is just a soupçon, as they say in French, or a taster of the complete program. It really is just a taster. And so the masterclass training that I'm launching is the key to opening the heart, or it's actually more than one key. It's the keys to opening the heart. And it is a step-by-step process for cultivating and growing these 5 Shin qualities so that we can transform pain into peace. So what it is an online masterclass training where we're going to cultivate the 5 Shin qualities so that you can transform your life. And what this practice does is it facilitates the exploration, the discovery, the understanding, the transformation, and the upliftment of Xingling, or the heart, through various types of dialogue with oneself. And you just had a taste of one of those dialogues. There are many more. And what we're going to be doing is we're going to be learning, but we're also going to be having fun, because one of the things that I really like about this practice is that it is really, really easy. It is one of the easiest practices I have ever done, and I've done a lot of trainings and I've done a lot of Qigong training, and this is super, super easy, which makes it enjoyable. It's like it's not hard to do, and it's enjoyable to do. You look forward to it, and it has a positive effect. So we will also be having community through an online community, so that you get to share and connect with other people as your heart opens. And there is no doubt in my mind that if we use this practice, our life changes in magical and even miraculous ways. So it's easy to learn and practice, it's very safe, that's very important, it's effective, it's fun, it's enjoyable. And there are 3 stages of the cultivation of each Shin quality. That makes a total of 15 stages, because if you have 5 Shin times 3 stages, that's 15 stages in total, and they're rolled out, you know, one after the other. And what it consists of is daily exercises. As I said, you've had a taste of it, so you get an idea of what it's like, but you won't really fully know what they are until you actually learn them. So daily exercises to open the heart to develop these 5 Shin qualities, and it is a mix of theory and practice, because when we're learning something, we need 2 legs. We need 1 leg of theory and 1 leg of practice in order to be stable. So there's going to be going into much, 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 much more depth and detail than what I've done on this webinar. You won't believe the information and the detail that we're going to go into. We can only give a snippet on this webinar. And what it also does is it teaches us to understand human nature and to develop these positive aspects of human nature, because if we don't consciously develop them, then the negative aspects of human nature take their place, because this is the law of the universe, the law of yin and yang. This is why we have to consciously develop these positive aspects of human nature. And as I mentioned before, this is really internal alchemy. We're transforming inside from the inside out. And what we're going to be doing, and I'll be going into much more depth and explaining what Qi is on the training, we're going to be cultivating our Qi, because essentially Qi is energy and information. Information is, you know, all our beliefs, our conditioning, our programming, our memories, the emotions that's stored inside of us. Everything that's ever happened to us in our life is inside of us, and that creates our Qi. And Qi is the fundamental building block of life from which everything in our body is created. So our mind comes from Qi, our emotions come from Qi, our physical body comes from Qi, our consciousness comes from Qi, our body is solidified Qi. So what we're doing, and this is the meaning of Qigong, Qigong means to cultivate our Qi. Qi is this energy and information. Gong means to cultivate. So Qigong is to cultivate your Qi. Now, I've been training in Qigong for 17 years, since 2000, and I'm a certified Qigong trainer in 3 different schools of Qigong. I've done a lot of Qigong training, and I'm really, really excited to be bringing this technique out to the world. And as far as this Opening Your Heart to Love Masterclass, there are 3 stages. Stage 1 is what we call nurturing and developing these 5 Shin qualities. Stage 2 is called examining and deepening these 5 qualities. And stage 3 is called working in the present, which won't mean anything now. Don't worry about that. But just to say, there are 3 stages of developing these 5 Shin qualities. And so I'm giving people an option or 2 options to learn this with me next year. Stage 1 will be the stage 1 training only, which will be an 8-week online live training. And then the other option will include stage 1, 2, and 3, which will go over a period of 10 months. So people can either come in for the 8-week stage 1 training, and then if they want, they can get the 2 and 3 later, or they can come in and enroll for the whole lot, and then it's like a 10-month journey together. And remember, we have our community group where we'll be sharing our wins and our progress and all that sort of stuff. And so by the end of the year, by the end of 2018, if you really commit to this practice, which, as I said, is really, really easy, it's just 20 minutes a day, then your life will be changing and will be, you know, maybe completely transformed. I can't say what the transformation is going to be because it's your transformation. So option 1 is an 8-week masterclass, which starts in January, go for 8 weeks. You can attend live, you can watch the replays. There's a private membership portal. For those of you who are already in my portal, you know exactly what it looks like. You'll be able to download the audio guided exercises and all the PDF tutorial material. There'll be an online community support group, and there's lifetime access to the program for as long as the program is around, which should be for some time. But you can download everything anyway. So that is option 1, an 8-week masterclass. Option 2 is the 10-month masterclass, where we go through the 8-week live online training, and then you go away and you practice by yourself, and then you come back a few months later and we do phase 2 and phase 3, which get done a few months after each other. So that is the main difference between the 2 options. So the question is, you know, are you ready? If this is appealing to you and you really feel like, yeah, I can see that there are elements of my heart being closed, and maybe I don't have enough trust, maybe I'm not as open as I would like to be, maybe I'm not experiencing as much love as I would like, maybe I could develop more gratitude and appreciation, and I'd like to develop more gongjing and all the good stuff, plus I want to, you know, feel happier and healthier, then, you know, this is potentially an opportunity to do that. I know it will change people's lives, but you have to decide whether it's right for you. So we've got a choice. We can either stay in prison or we can be free, because ultimately what we all really want is freedom, right? We want freedom, and the reality is that freedom is an inside job. And if you think of Nelson Mandela, I mean, he's one of the people who's the, you know, poster boy, if you like, for what true freedom means, you know, being in prison all those years, and yet he found freedom inside, because freedom is an inside job. So we have to ask ourselves, you know, what is the cost of not being happy or well? Because life is not a dress rehearsal. You know, what is it costing you? What is it costing you? Relationships, your success, your abundance, your happiness, your health. There are costs, right, to not having an open heart, and yet actually it can be relatively easy to open it up again. It doesn't mean that we don't have to go through some healing and all of that sort of stuff, but, you know, we can open our heart. And as it said in that exercise that I took you through, one of the keys is the initiative, taking the initiative to open the heart. Well, it's all well and good to say, okay, I'm going to have the, you know, I'm going to decide to open my heart, and I've got the initiative. But unless we have a step-by-step process to follow, it's actually really hard to do, right? We need something specifically that will do that, and this program does that. So, you know, what is it costing you to stay unhappy, unfulfilled, poor, unsuccessful, or sick, etc.? How will your life be if it doesn't change? And how will it be if it does change? And you may not even be able to imagine what it will be, because often we can't. If we have spent our whole life with a closed heart, with all the hurt inside, you know, it can be really, really difficult to imagine how things can be different. But things just change automatically as we go through the process of of opening our heart. It's just like a natural byproduct, if you like. So I hope that some of you will want to join me on this journey. I will only be doing this once in this way, live. Once it's recorded live, it's done. So you won't get the interaction with me and the community group, you know, unless you come on in January. So I've got, I think it's either 2 or 3 options here, because I want to help, you know, give everybody the best options possible. So number 1 is, as I said, stage 1 training, which is just the 8 weeks. And so, as I said before, you get the 8-week live training, the community support group, you get the replays, the audio downloads, the PDF downloads, the lifetime access, the online portal, etc., etc. And you will get a bonus voucher towards another training, plus, and I'm going to explain this in a minute, a cashback up to $100. The details of the cashback are actually on the registration page, but I'll explain them in a minute too. So normally all of that 8-week training will be $997, but if you register before the 25th of December, it will be $500. So this is the 8-week program. If you register before the 25th of December, it's nearly half price. And so that is option 1. So option number 2 is the full 10-month training, which includes stages 1, 2, and 3. So this is 10 months. So it's the 8-week live online training to start with. And then stages 2 and 3 are actually pre-recorded. There are some bonuses. There's a 30-minute private coaching session with me, valued at $175. Bonus voucher towards another training, cash back up to $200, and bonus live trainings for stage 2 and 3. And the total value of that is $1,619. And for the first 12 registrations, or by the 25th of December, whichever comes first, you will pay $649. So you're only actually paying just $150 more for all of that. It is an incredible value, and I may well be underselling it, but I just wanted to get the program going. So for the first 12 people only, you're going to get a private coaching session. You're going to get a $50 voucher towards another training, online training. You could get up to $200 cash back if enough people purchase the program. You get 2 bonus trainings for stages 2 and 3, live trainings, and you get the 10-month program, or everything that I showed before. So there is also a 2-payment plan, but that excludes some of the bonuses. So that is an incredible, you know, if you want a year's worth of training and transformation with me, I think that's an incredible value, and I hope you think so too. So if you want to register, you go to kimknighthealth.mykajabi.com. If you go there and you scroll down, or I think it's quite at the top of the page, and you go to the registration page, and it will give you a number of options for registering. So you can just go and register for that and choose which option you want. It is only the 649 option that has all the major, you know, huge bonuses in there. It is an incredible opportunity. If you have any technical questions over registering, please email admin@artofhealth.co.nz. If you've got any other questions, email info@artofhealth.co.nz. So the webpage for the program is kimknighthealth.mykajabi.com. If you have any problems finding anything, then just send me an email and I will send the link. But it's right here on the slide. You just type that in. I look forward to people joining me on this program. This offer this for the next week will never be offered again. It's like, you know, we can go and spend money on Christmas presents and this, that, and the other, but actually the biggest gift we can give ourselves is learning how to change ourselves from the inside out. But the great thing about this is it's enjoyable to do, it's pleasant to do, it's easy to do. It's very hard to not be able to do it, if that makes sense. Time to go. and I hope to see some of you on the live training next year and helping you transform your lives. Okay, thank you for joining me.